What if everything you were taught about building wealth is a lie? Not a small lie, a decades-long, culturally reinforced, socially accepted lie that keeps millions of people working 40 years of their lives just to retire and finally enjoy the few years they have left. That's the question MJ DeMarco asked himself when he was broke, driving a beat-up Chrysler and watching a Lamborghini park outside a restaurant. He walked up to the driver, a young guy, not a celebrity, not an heir, and asked him one simple question. "What do you do?" The answer changed his life, and if you stick around for the next 10 minutes, it might change yours too. The Great Illusion. DeMarco calls it the Great Financial Illusion. From the time we're old enough to understand money, we're handed a script. Go to school, get good grades, find a stable job, work hard, save 10% of your paycheck, max out your 401k, invest in index funds, and in about 40 years, if the market cooperates and you don't get sick, you'll be rich. Congratulations! You can now enjoy your wealth at 65. Except here's the thing, nobody talks about. By 65, your knees hurt, your friends have moved away or passed on, your kids are grown, and the dreams you had at 25 feel like a different person's memories. That's not wealth. That's a financial prison with a very comfortable cell. This path, which DeMarco calls the slow lane, isn't evil. It's not a conspiracy, it's just deeply, fundamentally broken for anyone who wants to experience real freedom while they still have the energy to enjoy it. And the frightening part is that most people never question it. They follow the script, work the years, and only realize at the end that time, not money, was the real currency they should have been protecting. 3 roadmaps. DeMarco lays out 3 distinct financial roadmaps that most people fall into, sometimes without even choosing. The first is the Sidewalk. Sidewalkers live for today with no plan for tomorrow. They spend everything they earn, often more, because they believe wealth is about appearances, the car, the clothes, the apartment that looks impressive on Instagram. They're one unexpected bill away from disaster, and every raise they get disappears into a bigger lifestyle. There's no real strategy, just vibes and optimism that things will somehow work out. The second roadmap is the slow lane, and this is the one most educated, responsible people are on. Slow laners follow the traditional path: save, invest, be patient. The math technically works, but the timeline is brutal. To get rich through the slow lane, you need time, and lots of it. Decades of compounding, decades of restraint, decades of hoping the economy doesn't collapse right before you retire. DeMarco's central argument is that the slow lane trades your most valuable asset, your youth, and your time for a payoff that arrives too late to be truly meaningful. Then there's the third roadmap, the fast lane, and this is where things get interesting. The fast lane isn't about get-rich-quick schemes or lottery tickets. It's not about day trading on your phone or posting videos and hoping they go viral. It's a completely different philosophy of how wealth is actually created, and it starts with a mindset shift that most people never make. The fast lane philosophy. Here's the core idea behind the fast lane. Rich people don't get rich by saving money. They get rich by building assets specifically, systems and businesses that produce money without requiring them to trade hours for dollars. Think about that Lamborghini guy from the opening story. He wasn't rich because he saved aggressively and got lucky with the stock market. He had built something, a business, a system that generated income whether he was working or sleeping. That is the entire game. DeMarco calls it divorcing wealth from time. When your income depends on your presence, your earning potential will always be capped by the number of hours in a day. But when your income comes from a system you've built, the ceiling essentially disappears. This is what DeMarco means when he talks about entrepreneurship as the fast lane. Not the romanticized hustle culture version where you grind 18 hours a day and call it passion, but the strategic, deliberate act of creating something that serves other people at scale, a product, a service, a platform, a brand, something that can reach thousands or millions of people without you personally showing up every single time. The law of Effection. One of the most powerful ideas in the entire book is what DeMarco calls the law of Effection. It's simple, almost uncomfortably so. The more people you help, and the bigger the problem you solve for them, the wealthier you become. That's it. Wealth is fundamentally the result of adding value to other people's lives at scale. A local plumber who fixes pipes for 200 customers a year adds value but to a small number of people. A software company that builds tools used by 10 million people adds value at a completely different magnitude. The market rewards scale, and the entrepreneurs who understand this don't sit around asking, how do I make more money? They ask, how do I help more people? This reframe is genuinely powerful. It shifts the entire conversation from extraction, how do I squeeze more out of what I have, to contribution, how do I build something so useful that money becomes a byproduct? DeMarco is adamant that chasing money directly almost never works, but building something that genuinely solves a real problem for real people, that's the machine that generates it. The 5 Commandments. To make the fast lane more actionable, DeMarco introduces what he calls the 5 Wealth Commandments, a framework you can use to evaluate any business idea or opportunity. The first is the commandment of need. Your business must solve a real problem. Not a problem you think is interesting. Not a hobby you've monetized with wishful thinking, a genuine, painful, urgent problem that real people are actively trying to solve. The market doesn't care about your passion. It cares about what it needs. The second is the commandment of entry. If it's easy to get into, it's probably not worth getting into. Businesses with low barriers to entry, like most social media side hustles or dropshipping stores, attract massive competition that drives margins to near zero. The harder something is to build, the more defensible it becomes once you've built it. Difficulty is a feature, not a bug. Third is the commandment of control. If you don't control your business, you don't really own it. DeMarco is especially pointed here about people who build their entire income on platforms. They don't control an algorithm change, a policy update. A deplatforming can wipe out years of work overnight. True fast-lane wealth comes from owning the system, not renting someone else's. Fourth is the commandment of scale. Can your business reach thousands or even millions of people? Or is it fundamentally capped? A freelance designer is skilled and can earn well, but their income scales with their hours. A design software company can scale to 1 million users without the founder working 1 million more hours. Scale is the multiplier that turns a good business into life-changing wealth. And fifth is the commandment of time. The goal is to disconnect your income from your time. Every hour you spend working should move you closer to a system that eventually works without you, whether you're on a beach, asleep, or spending time with people you love. If your business requires your constant presence to survive, it's not a business, it's a job you own. Execution over planning. One of the sharpest chapters in the book is DeMarco's takedown of what he calls business plan worship. So many people spend months, sometimes years, perfecting their business plan, tweaking their pitch deck, reading every book on entrepreneurship, attending every webinar, and never actually building anything. DeMarco is brutal about this. Execution is infinitely more valuable than planning. The market doesn't care about your beautiful spreadsheet projections. It will tell you what it actually wants when you actually show up with something real. He encourages readers to burn the business plan and ignite execution. Start. Build something imperfect and ugly and put it in front of real people. Listen to what they actually say, not what you hope they'll say. Iterate, improve. The gap between people who think about building wealth and people who actually build it is almost never a knowledge gap, it's an action gap. The information is available to almost everyone. The willingness to act on it, tolerate failure, and keep going anyway is what separates the fast lane from the slow lane of wishful thinking. Build brands, not just businesses. In the final stretch of the book, DeMarco pushes readers to think beyond just building a business that generates cash and to build something that lasts and compounds. A brand, a system, an asset that keeps working when you're not in the room. He talks about the difference between being someone's savior versus being just another vendor. The businesses that break through are the ones solving real pain deeply, meaningfully, in a way that makes the customer feel understood. When you build that, loyalty follows. And loyal customers tell other people. The business starts feeding itself. He also emphasizes that pedestrians, ordinary people with ordinary problems, will make you rich, if you're paying attention. The best business ideas aren't discovered at conferences or in business books. They're discovered in everyday frustrations, in the moments where you or someone around you says, "Why doesn't something like this exist?" That question is worth $1 million if you're willing to go answer it. So here's the uncomfortable truth that DeMarco leaves you with at the end of the book. The slow lane isn't a safe path. It just feels safe because everyone else is on it. Real safety comes from building something that generates value independently of your time, and the window to do that is open right now, while you're young enough to take the risk, make the mistakes, and recover from them. The fast lane is not about shortcuts. It's about choosing a fundamentally better road, one where the work you do today builds an asset that pays you for the rest of your life, rather than just covering next month's bills. If this resonated with you, I genuinely recommend reading the full book. There's a level of detail and nuance in DeMarco's arguments that a single video can't capture, especially his personal story of how he went from broke to building a multi-million-dollar exit. It's one of those rare books that doesn't just give you information, it changes how you see the game entirely. Drop a comment below telling me which of the 5 commandments hit you hardest, and if you want a deeper breakdown of any specific section, let me know and I'll make it happen. See you in the next one.